Hello, Fort Harrod area homemakers. My name is Tara Duty, and I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent for Mercer County. Today we're going to talk about the Big Freeze, our September leader lesson. So freezing is an easy and convenient way to preserve food. It is the least time-consuming method of food preservation. Freezing food can save time on meal preparation, minimize our food waste, and extend the life of our leftovers, as well as stretch your food dollars. Today's outline is listed below: what freezing is and how it affects the safety and quality of our food, basic freezing processes and proper technique for year-round preservation, compare food and container selection for optimal freshness and quality, and learn how to thaw safely when meal planning or during a power outage. So what is freezing? When a product is frozen slowly, large ice crystals form and rupture cell walls within our food. You will notice this damage upon thawing, and the product will appear soft and soggy. The left picture shows us small ice crystals that form when the temperature is lowered rapidly. This results in better quality food that is frozen. The right picture has large ice crystals that have formed when the temperature is lowered slowly. When you reduce the temperature, any bacteria present on the food will become dormant. Freezing slows the growth of bacteria. It does not destroy the bacteria. Freezing is not a kill step like cooking or canning. Any bacteria that may be present on the food before freezing are still there once thawed and can multiply if not handled correctly. Freezer burns occur when the food is exposed to air and that portion of the food dries out. It will appear grayish brown or white. You can remove that portion before or after cooking. It is still safe to eat. You may notice a change in the flavor, color, or texture once cooked if you do not remove this portion of the food. Clostridium botulinum, the organism that causes botulism and is associated with canning, cannot grow or produce a toxin when frozen. Cooling before freezing helps us with quick freezing and small crystal formation. Leaving air in the package will lead to freezer burn. Freezing food quickly after packaging, don't let it sit at room temperature. Quick freeze by allowing space between containers for cold air to circulate. Once frozen, stack products to free up space in your freezer. Keep a thermometer in the freezer to make sure the temperature is 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Pre-treating before freezing improves overall quality. Soaking fruit in a mild acid solution will stop enzymatic activity, which creates browning. Vegetables should be blanched, which is partially cooking in a boiling water followed by an ice bath to stop any enzymatic activity. More information is available in our Freezing Fruits publication and Freezing Vegetables publication. You can get that from any of your extension offices. Okay, let's talk a little bit about container selection when we want to freeze something. So our containers should be labeled for freezing or freezer storage, and oftentimes they will have a snowflake symbol embedded in them to indicate that they are for the freezer. Okay, so storage bags, which are not freezer friendly, are thinner and they allow air to pass through them. We do not want that. We don't want freezer burned items. So if you put something in a bag that is a storage bag and put it in the freezer, it's not going to keep that quality. The quality of the food is going to tank. And so we want to use rigid and leak-proof containers that are resistant to cracking, resistant to oil and grease. Always want them to be labeled for the freezer and we can always use freezer paper and freezer tape. When it comes to freezing using glass canning jars or a vacuum sealer, we want to make sure that the canning jars are of the wide mouth variety. Anything with what we consider to have a shoulder where it goes up and curves on that edge, we don't want to put those in the freezer because those shoulders are prone to cracking once they freeze. And then when we use a vacuum sealer, you can use a countertop vacuum sealer or a handheld vacuum sealer. They both help. Vacuum sealing is the best packaging method for freezing. All of the air is removed before the package is sealed, resulting in optimum quality and nutrition. If you have a vacuum sealer, try to remove as much air as possible when wrapping or sealing a bag. If using freezer paper, be sure to place food on the correct side of the paper, the shiny plastic coated side. Use freezer tape to secure. Products expand when frozen. You must leave some empty space at the top of the container for food to expand. If you don't, your container may crack. Use a straight-sided glass canning jar like the wide mouth variety. A curved neck jar, again, is more susceptible to cracking at the neck when the product expands. Additional tips for quality include removing as much air as possible, wrapping our food tightly, surround your fish in water, wrap tightly in freezer paper and secure with freezer tape, leave headspace when filling containers, use straight-sided glass canning jars, and freeze small amounts in ice trays to transfer to freezer bags. Let's talk about some foods that don't freeze well. So certain foods may become soft and mushy, ingredients can separate, or the food will just become soggy. Produce foods that contain a lot of water are not good candidates for freezing. So items like cabbage, lettuces, and watermelon will become soft after thawing, changing the texture and making them unappealing to eat. It's best to use frozen fruit in smoothies or tomatoes in sauces or soups. The ingredients in many egg dishes, sauces, and puddings will unfortunately separate upon thawing. These products often do not retain an acceptable quality after freezing. Fried foods will become soft once reheated, unless they are cooked in an air fryer. Now, what do we do after we've frozen our food? So when it's time to thaw, refrigerator thawing is the safest since the temperature never gets above 40 degrees. So we want to remember that the danger zone for food is 40 to 140. So anything in there allows bacteria to grow. So since the refrigerator does not go above 40 degrees, that bacteria does not grow during the thawing portion. Cool water thawing should not be used if you are thawing for longer than 4 hours, and food should be placed in a leak-proof bag. Stir or rotate food if thawing in the microwave so it thaws evenly and does not cook in places. Thank you for watching today's video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments or email me or your local FCS extension agent. Have a great day. Thank you.